What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here live, talking a little Saturday MLB. I know the show's a little later than usual. Blow me. Had to be in the city, get a few things done myself. I know. Cue the tiny violins, but we are back. I'll tell you what, interesting to deal with traffic going into the city. Haven't dealt with that in quite some time, so it's actually kind of refreshing. Not in the sense of me sitting there with my dick in my hand driving, but in the sense of it's nice to see people out again, doing their thing. But yeah, let's talk a little baseball. I know there's a few 4 o'clock games. I'll get to them quickly here because there's a few bets I like in the earlies. Well, the earlies now, being at the time we're doing this video. So let me just dive quickly right in. I'll start with the 2 games that I know I have bets in. So Pirates Marlins, Chase Dejean, Trevor Rogers. For me, this is, and I'm just trying to confirm what active lines are because I bet this a little while ago. I don't want to give you out a stale line, if you will. Looks like plus 115 is the going rate. A little lower than that, actually, penning your book. We'll call it right down the even. So DraftKings has 108. I guess that's where we're going to stand here. So I bet this at 115. I'll be honest, I did not get the best number, but I do like the Pirates here, plus at this moment 108. So we'll type that in here. Pirates plus 108 versus Marlins. For a few different reasons. So for one thing, I love that this Pirates team is getting fully healthy. Hayes has been, quite a monster for this team this few games back, and he's in the lineup again today. They face a good lefty here. I've been a Trevor Rogers guy. I've spoken about him a few times on the show. And sure, you look at his surface and it's good. He's not as good as the 187, but he's still a guy that gets outs. Chase Dejean, I want to say we backed him a few weeks ago. Maybe it was him or maybe it was the Bats when he was pitching for Pittsburgh. I definitely didn't fade him. So the game against – we did. Yes. We did play him. That was the game where I lost we lost that one in the 9th inning. Actually, 8th and 9th inning. They were up 2 runs late, which was unfortunate. But look, for me, right back to the well, I thought he pitched pretty well. And it's not so much him I'm targeting. It's more or less a perfect storm, if you will. I think the Pirates' bats are as live as they've been all season. They're healthy. And now the Marlins on the other side are kind of like the exact opposite. Remember, it wasn't too long ago. This team was about sub 500. They are just not playing good baseball by any means. What is it, 7 in a row now? Now, sure, this could be the game where they kind of figure things out. But, I mean, this is a team that scored more than, 2 runs in one of their last 7 games and like 2 of their last 12 or 2 of their last 11, something like that. This team's just not hitting, right? So I get a team in Pittsburgh that's hitting well, seeing the ball well. They have live bats up and down the lineup right now. Pittsburgh's not a good team by any means. I want to be clear. But they're a bad team that's hitting well right now. And those are the kind of teams you want to jump on the sticks with. And again, Marlins are playing unconfident baseball right now. And sure, pitching matchup does favor the Marlins. Chase Dejean pitched well his first start, but can't expect that to be every start for him. More or less a AAA guy. But I do like what I'm seeing from the bats from Pittsburgh. And for me, it's value. To me, I actually have Pitt favored here. So to be able to get dog money here is actually quite nice. So yeah, hopefully they don't bang me again with their pen. I could go first 5, but again, I'm not truly in love with the fact that Dejean outpitches Rogers, but I do think that over 9 innings, Pittsburgh sticks should be more live than the Marlins. So really like that look, and that's one of the plays I like. I know that game starts shortly. Now, another game I like that starts shortly, and I'll try to go into the others before if you want to make live bets or whatever. But another game I like that starts shortly is where is it here? So Royals Twins, Mike Minor, Jose Berrios. So Berrios, the thing with me, and I compare him a lot to Luis Castillo because a lot of their advanced analytics are identical. Not so much identical, but very similar in the fact that both of those pitchers do not like to pitch away from home. And this year is a short sample regardless, so I wouldn't care how egregious his numbers are on the road. But for his career, he has been a very below-average pitcher, Jose Berrios. And he draws a Royals team that is literally hitting the best they've hit all year by a wide margin. Now, I'm not just talking what they did yesterday. I mean, this team is going on like a 5. You're going on, 1, 2, you're going on 7 straight games where they've scored at least 5 runs, 6 of 7 where they've scored 6+. They've scored 7+ in 4 of those, double-digit hits in like basically every game. This team is just smacking the seams off the baseball right now. And then you play a pitcher that's good in Berrios, but again, not so much good or not as good nearly on the road. Mike Minor, I'm not in love with, but I mean, look at this. Look at the lineup that the Twins have had to put out recently. They're dealing with some severe injuries. And here, once you get past Nelson Cruz, I mean, who really threatens you in this lineup? I mean, Kirilloff from the left side, but Minor's a lefty that gets lefties out. Sano is like so home run or bust. Jeffers, Simmons, Celestino, like this is a black hole at the bottom of this lineup. So if Minor can just wiggle his way around the top 4 bats, I do like the Royals' ability to outscore the Twinkies here. Seeing a line of, I know when I got this, it was about 105. It's probably not that now. It might be. Let me just see. I just want to make sure I get you guys at least the market price. I have the Royals quite favorable in this spot. So I'm seeing 108. So I'll go ahead and throw that there. So Royals minus 108 versus the Twins. And again, for me, it's very similar to the Pittsburgh situation where I'm playing streaking teams inverse. Well, this is actually more egregious, well, not more egregious, but almost as egregious as Marlins Pittsburgh, because the Twinkies have lost about 4 or 5 in a row. Royals have won 5 in a row, smacking the ball everywhere. Maybe Berrios is able to quiet them today, but again, his strength has not been on the road, so I don't love him in this spot, and he could pitch well again, but for me, I'll play the numbers here. Royals should be bigger than 108. They're not getting enough credit. I think the Twins, because they're the Twins, are getting a little padded line there in their favor. But for me, 108 is a really fair price on a team that's playing really good baseball right now. So, yeah, I like the Royals. Now, these other games I'll go into. I don't have a bet in these, but I will go into them so you can make live bets or whatever. Orioles Indians means Savali. So we get the win yesterday with the Orioles, which was nice. Game kind of played out almost how I thought it would, except for Eli Morgan did not enter the game. I think that had more to do with Mejia going longer than anticipated. I know that they were going to put his pitch count up at near 70, 75, but he pitched really well, and he was able to eat innings, which I think let them use some of their lighter pen arms instead of their long reliever arm. You know, Mejia goes 2 innings. I'd assume Morgan comes in. Since he's able to go 4 or 5, they started putting in different guys. I got a little tilted that the Orioles went Hunter Harvey yesterday. And, you know, a guy that they've been bullish on from AAA, throws a lot of smoke. I was surprised they put him in the tie game there, and of course he was one that gave up the run. But the Orioles showed some life and bounced back. This start here, so you might look at the line and see Means is $130. I can't lay a $130 with the Orioles. I don't really care who's pitching. And I know you guys just saw me bet them at plus 102, but remember, this is a numbers game. Means should pitch well here. He's a lefty going against a team that can't hit lefties in their current form. But Savali's a good arm too. So, yeah, I mean, it's a stay away spot for me. I really want to bet Baltimore. I just can't lay 130 with Baltimore. I can take them as a slight dog. I'll lay like a $105, but I can't lay a 130 with the Orioles. I don't care who they're playing or who's pitching for them. So the line for me was pretty fair. Overall, a stay away spot for me, but yeah, just want to give you perspective. Okay, so Rays, Rangers, Colby Allard, Rich Hill. Rich Hill. I mean, what is there not to say about Rich Hill? The Agita. He has been pitching outstanding this season, especially for his standards. A guy that has a tremendous amount of walk issues, and also he hasn't had any what's his splinters? Is that his big issue? He gets like cuts on his hands from throwing all the curveballs, and he usually ends up on the DL. He's been pitching really well. Curveball's been good. His fastball is obviously slow, but when he mixes it up so much with the curveball, he's been really good this season, keeping hitters off balance. Colby Allard. You know, the sample size isn't gigantic, but he's been good too. You throw a lefty at the Rays, usually that can limit exposure, but overall, call it a very, very small lean in favor of the over. And I only say that because to me, there's a reason why this line is 8, and it has to do with how well both pitchers have been pitching. And the Rangers aren't hitting at all, which it makes you kind of struggle about that. So, you know, maybe a better lean would be Rays over their team total. So you kind of don't pinch yourself there. But again, Rich Hill's due for some regression. He's been pitching really well. But he is so reliant on location and keeping hitters off balance that you just assume the back half of this season, his numbers are going to start to regress. But again, you know, he's been pitching well, and this is why it's not a really bet I'm going to make, but call it a very small lean, maybe raise the team total over. It's probably 4-ish, or they're away, so it'll be about 4.5. Yeah, again, I don't love the look, but that's my lean. Phillies, Nats. So it's Howard going against who's going for the Nats? I think Ross, right? Yeah, so Joe Ross. I really didn't have anything I loved in this game. Very slightly Nationals. I know this is the total's high, but again, remember, guys, in Philly's ballpark, when it is warm, that ball travels. So yeah, move from 9 to 10. And these are two bad pitchers, and I'd argue this is a ceiling number for this park. You rarely will see a total in Philly higher than this. But again, it scared me enough to want to stay away from it. So overall, I didn't really like anything in this game, either side. Now, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Merrill Kelly, Brandon Woodruff. I really thought last night the Diamondbacks would grab some runs off Peralta. Now, Peralta almost went a full no-no. And credit to him for pitching well, because he walked into a Diamondbacks team that's really started to find some life with their sticks. So now they draw Woodruff, who I'd argue is better than Peralta. And, are the Diamondbacks going to show a little more life with their sticks? Maybe. I got scared off today. I can promise you if Diamondbacks scored 4 runs yesterday, I would have went right back to this well today with Diamondbacks over their team total. It's 3, I think. However, I was a little scared off. They looked very lost yesterday at the plate. It wasn't like a game where they had a lot of hard contact and they just found gloves. I mean, they were made to look silly by Peralta for 7 or 8 innings before they finally got on the board. And it's just not a spot I really want any part of today. Granted, of course, I could be a day late to the party. The Diamondbacks could score runs today. Woodruff is a different type of pitcher than Peralta, so maybe that'll help. Merrill Kelly has not been good, and for his career, he certainly has not been good on the road. I by no means like the Brewers at this price, though. I mean, that's an egregious price for them at $240. So call it a stay away spot for me. Maybe because of how the pregame numbers work or what the pregame numbers are. If you get like 4 or 5 dry innings from the D-backs and Woodruff's pitch count's high, I may want to jump in on the D-backs team total live. It'll probably be like half a run in the 6th inning. So that might be a spot I look for. But either way, it'll be a stay away spot for me. Royals Twins already talked about. Red Sox Yankees. So Jameson Taillon and Eduardo Rodriguez. Yeah, so it's interesting about the Red Sox, right? Because when you bet the Red Sox, you are so reliant on their 3, 4, 5 hitters to do the damage for you. When those guys are not hitting, they lose games. The problem is that, and why the Red Sox record is so good, it has been very rare where the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Red Sox aren't hitting. And of course, this is JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, and Rafael Devers. Them 3 together have some serious numbers so far this season. But the rest of the lineup, like if you looked at them 3, 4, 5 and the rest of their lineup, it is crazy the disparity in how good those 3 are versus the other 6. Taillon, is a smart pitcher who doesn't have anything that blows you away. But if he can limit the 3, 4, 5 bats, I mean, it's like King yesterday. Devers, killed him early with a 3-run homer, especially on a 1-2 pitch. But here you have Eduardo Rodriguez going up against a righty-heavy Yankees team. You would assume runs, but again, this is a high total for Yankee Stadium, and it's warm. The ball's going to carry, that. But I don't want any part of the total. And I can't lay $1.25 with the Yankees, knowing that Taillon will be vulnerable to the heart of that Red Sox lineup. But again, same way. I just have this game cap fair. It's not a spot I like in any regard. Giants Cubs. So Kevin Gausman, Cole Stewart. Here's my issue with this line. The market is now beginning to overreact to Kevin Gausman's success. Kevin Gausman's been excellent, but you have a guy who the market is now starting to realize is the real deal. And does Gausman deserve a $1.60 here? And I'd argue no, he does not. So for me, it would be a very, very slight lean. You can even argue Cubs money line. I just think there's value there. I think overall, Cole Stewart, the sample's too small, but he's been okay. And the Cubs are playing well coming into this series. I just think that the Giants are getting a little too much steam here with this line. And to me, there's value with the Cubbies. You're going to get a better lineup from them. If the lineup might even be out, but you're going to get a better lineup up and down from the Cubs. And overall, I just think I think Gausman's priced into this market too much. It probably should be about $1.35, $1.40 here. So 160 for me is I actually like the look. Braves Dodgers. So Charlie Morton, Clayton Kershaw. Charlie Morton might be one of the unluckiest pitchers in baseball right now. It's kind of surprising, or I'll be honest, it's kind of crazy. His ERA is only 4.26. He has had some real unfortunate throwing this season. However, I do think that's baked into this line, right? That's why the Dodgers are only $1.30 with Kershaw. How often do you see that? And this has more to do, of course, with the Braves who have a lot of righty pop, and the Dodgers are getting healthier, but they're not fully healthy. They were helped out a little bit yesterday by a few errors, but the Dodgers, you just went off in like the fourth inning. They scored like 8 or 10 runs in the fourth inning, and then obviously never looked back from there. I don't love, like, here's the thing. Like, if this was priced how I thought it was going to be priced, like Dodgers $1.60, $1.50, I would have been all over the Braves in this spot, but I feel like this is priced correctly at $1.30. And Morton's been unlucky, but he also doesn't do himself favors. A little too many walks. Dodgers are super patient. Kershaw's coming off a great start, so maybe you get a little bounce back from him in a negative fashion. But overall, I like this. I think this line's fair, so it's a stay away spot for me. Rockies Athletics is going to be my third and final bet of the day, or night, if you will, pending the time you watch. I do like the Athletics here, so it's $1.25, and I don't think it's nearly big enough. So let me go here. So Athletics minus 125 versus Athletics minus 125 versus the Rockies. And I like it for a few different reasons. So first of all, I am not a Kyle Freeland guy. I know a lot of people like him. He's a crafty lefty, throws a lot of off-speed stuff, does not have an overpowering fastball by any means. Cole Irvin, 3-7, 4.12. He has been a lot better than he looks. He draws a Rockies team that, yes, this game's at home. I know the Rockies, how bad they are on the road. Even though how bad they are on the road, they still banged me in that Pittsburgh game last week, but all good. This is not priced near enough where it should be. Athletics should be like $1.50 in this spot. And this has more to do with up and down the lineup. This Athletics team is built to mash left-handers. The Rockies, however, that is not the case. I'm interested if this lineup come out yet. Because I'm interested what the Rockies come out with, because I think Trevor Story's still hurt. I don't think he was in the lineup yesterday. And while there are some bats like CJ Cron from the right side that have pop that kind of could scare you a bit. I mean, who else really scares you from the right side in this lineup? I mean, Garrett Hampson had a good start to the year, but he's not what he used to be, or he's not rolling like he was. Fuentes, I mean, that bat doesn't scare anybody. So, I think the Rockies have been hitting well, but they're back home. The Athletics loved this weather yesterday. I mean, loved this field yesterday. I have no reason to think that they won't again. And the A's have plenty of righty pop. Kyle Freeland cannot make mistakes and cannot give up free passes. These are two things that have plagued him throughout his career. Overall, to me, this line should be $1.50. So happy to take the A's at $1.25. Angels, Mariners, Alex Cobb. You say Kikuchi. Now, I like Kikuchi. I'm a closeted Seattle Mariner fan. This is a tough spot for him, though. And I know that the Angels don't have Trout, but they still have enough pop in their lineup, and Alex Cobb has been excellent. The Mariners, their biggest issue, though, is Mariners don't hit left-handers. Obviously, a Cobb does not come from the left side, but the Mariners are in quite a drought, and when you're a bad team not hitting well, it becomes an issue. They had a few good games going a while back versus Texas, but that's kind of medianed out, if you will. I don't – again, to me, there could be runs in this game. I would lean this over at 8. I don't love it because you have a degraded Angels team and a Mariners team that really doesn't hit often. But I think Kikuchi gets himself into a little too many jams, and that I'd be comfortable with to back it in any under. And Alex Cobb, when he's not getting Ks, he's a bit of an issue, but he should, you'd think, get Ks here. Overall, I got this line at Angels, basically Angels like $1.60, $1.65. I got to dig the exact where that is, but let's hypothetically say $1.63. So a little slight value in the Angels at 153, but not enough for me to want to move the needle, if you will. So it'll be a stay away spot for me, but again, slight value Angels, slight value over. Last but not least, Padres, Mets, Joe Musgrove, Jacob deGrom. deGrom's really perfect. deGrom just pitched. He's pitching again. It's been 4 days. I guess so. To me, this is wild. And it's wild for a few different reasons. So the total 6, assuming we get a decent Mets lineup, and the Mets are starting to get some healthier bats back, right? Assuming we get a decent Mets lineup, look, I can't disagree with Mets. So first of all, if you're going to bet this game, why not dabble with Mets first 5? Because then you don't have to deal with the bullpens. Not that the Mets have a bad bullpen, because they really don't have like an awful bullpen. Diaz, especially in the back half, is good, and Lugo's starting to come back healthier. My problem with Musgrove, and I say this every time, he relies on free swinging bats. The Mets do not really strike out. They're one of the lowest strikeout teams in the league, especially when they're healthy. They're getting healthier. So deGrom, especially for the Padres team that has a bunch of free swingers, don't get me wrong, this is a talented bunch, and you'd figure they could get to deGrom, and if they do, To me, I just feel like the Mets aren't getting enough value here. It's 105. I line this about $1.20 in favor of the Mets. So call it 15 cents of value. Call this my strongest lean of the video in favor of the Mets. It'll be Mets first 5. I don't like the full game by any means, because if DeGrom goes like 6 innings, and it's a tie game, to me the Padres swing to like about a $1.60 favorite, in my opinion. So the idea is that DeGrom can keep him at bay for 5 innings or keep this game close for 5 innings. But that's, again, call it a strong lean up, not a bet I'm going to make unless the Mets swing to an underdog first 5, then I would bet it. But until then, I will stay away. So that recaps the videos. I hope this was informative for you guys. Look at that. Diamondbacks already got a run just to bang me in the ass. I needed that yesterday, but all good in the hood. So ultimately, so I gave you the bets. You can run through them. Best bets were, let me just confirm here. So Pirates, Royals, and Athletics were the 3 I liked. May the odds be ever in our favor. And look, as always, folks, gamble responsibly, stay safe. Keg will be back with a live show tonight, or actually probably right after this show, to be honest. So I hope you found this video informative. We'll be back tomorrow, Joey and myself and Holden, talking bases at the normal time, 12 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. Check us out, runpurebets.com. And as always, guys, like these videos. We don't ask you for much. Just go ahead and like the video. But seriously, guys, thank you for watching. Gamble responsibly, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.